deliberate creation is delicious, and creation by default, less so. In fact, creating by default is terrible. If you don't know what's coming to you and what it is that you're doing that is causing it to come, then you get into a mode of futility where you're blaming others, needing them to be different. And the reason that so often that happens with you is because you are natural harmonizers. You are born with every aspect of your being seeking harmony. And so if you're not actively aware of your own inner being, of your own source and its vibrational broadcast, and therefore you are not deliberately tuning in to who you are, then your natural desire to harmonize, your tuner always being on, you're looking for something to tune to. Now, the way you would maybe describe that in your human words is, I want to be understood, or I want to find my tribe, I want to find those who think like I do. And all of that seems just fine. We're not discouraging harmony. We are just wanting you to prioritize your points of harmony. We're just encouraging you to understand that you are an extension of source energy, and that source energy, who remains non-physically focused, is broadcasting to you continually. And not only is it the energy that you were before you came into this physical body, it's the energy that, since you've been in this physical body, that non-physical part of you has become because you're in this physical body. Does that make sense to you? Probably not at all. You're an extension of source energy, sifting and sorting and evaluating and deciding and launching your rockets of desire or rockets of preference. And whenever you do that, the non-physical part of you, who knew that you came for that very expansion purpose, is aware of each new thing that you put into your equation as you become more and more. In other words, every time you know what you don't want, what you do want becomes a real thing. When a circumstance occurs and you respond to it or react to it, which seems like a normal thing to do, your reaction of what is unwanted causes an equivalent vibrational launching of a point of attraction of what you do want. You can't frequency of yourself and therefore your point of attraction. But if you have not gotten out ahead of it, if you haven't been deliberately quieting your mind, if you don't meditate on a regular basis, or if you're not basking or looking for positive aspects on a regular basis, if you're just an observer of life, and we want to say to you that most people offer most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. And in this world today, there is such a plethora to observe of both wanted and unwanted that most people have a very mixed bag of vibration that you are offering at any point in time, which means your goat is gettable. It means there's something within you that very well could harmonize with something that someone walks in the room, and let's say into your room, into your space, and let's, for sake of this analogy, say that they've not been meditating and they've not been reaching for alignment with who they really are, and they're not in a state of love or appreciation. They are really in a mean, ornery, vulnerable feeling, defensive state. You work with that person or live with that person or are that person. So that person walks into your space, and let's say that you've lived everything that person is ornery about yourself. You also have felt undervalued or unseen or not noticed or not cared for. You've had some of those feelings in response to the way your life has been going for you. So you have some active vibrations within you because your vibration on every subject is where you last left it. Now, it may not be active right now in this moment, but the probability of it becoming active if it's where you last left it, and it always is a sure thing. So you didn't meditate, and you're not tuned in, and you're not tapped in, and you're not turned on, and you're not feeling good, and you haven't been basking. You just showed up there where this other person showed up. You're not particularly ornery, and what's bothering this other person was not active within you, but because your vibration is where you last left it, and because you're not tuned in to your higher power, to your higher clarity, to your greater strength, then that person is going to dominate the energy space around you. That person is going to just be there, just looking the way that person is looking, and feeling the way that person is feeling. And even if that person doesn't say anything, he's gonna get your goat. He's gonna push your buttons because you didn't do something to get out ahead of it. You just sort of blundered into this segment of life experience, unprepared for what was there, and what's dominant always wins. So fix that. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. So there are a couple of things that we want to say to you. There are two ways for you to approach this understanding of how you want to be vibrationally calibrated to who you are and what you really want. One is, if you get out ahead of it, then you have a much better opportunity of not having such a bumpy ride. If you don't get out ahead of it, you're going to have a bumpy ride, because if somebody's in your space and they're feeling great, you probably do too. And somebody's in your space and they're feeling rotten, you probably do too. And probably you are not feeling very powerful or very capable of holding your own, because you find yourself up and down. It's sort of a roller coaster ride that you're living. And so then you usually do what most people do. You start blaming others for how you feel, which makes you want to join together with clubs. In other words, you want to join together in groups of people that feel more like you feel, so that your ride isn't so rough. But it would be like sending out an advertisement. You don't call it that on the internet. You put your profile out there somewhere, everywhere, and you announce to anyone who looks, which you assume will be everyone on the planet, see my picture, this is me, you might run into me, and when you do, I need these things from you. Oh, the list is long. We just received 400 things from you. Of the things that you would let others know that they need to do in order to be in harmony with you. Seems like a lot of information to get out there, and a lot of unlikely cooperation from a lot of people. Or you could just tune to who you really are and what you really want, and you could own the room that you're standing in.